know what that sound means. It means that's the last part of the song, and here we are, back live at Earthtones Recording Studio.
Not until that heathen
Come on now, I want to start off with Esther.
One.
I want to start
There
off
we
with
go.
Esther. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's right. That's right. Earthtones, 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 Earthtones. That is exactly what they're saying. I hope. I think. Something like that. How in the heck is everybody doing? What is that? Oh, it's my
Oh, it's your phone.
kicking back to me. God, stupid bunch of stuff. All right. So, we hope you missed us. We're back to play guitars and talk about silly stuff and drink coffee. Hey now, there's somebody in there saying, "Sup?"
Eric Gale.
Mr. Gale, back on the YouTubes. We hope you guys have been doing really good since we've been gone. Since we've been gone, Abraham has done all of his final exams, so I can't say that it's my fault for missing the live for a month. It's probably been a month. I think it's been about a month, right?
It's been a while.
It's been a few weeks at least.
Yeah.
I think it's been since my intern. Yeah, it has been. So we just had a bunch of crazy stuff going on. Anyway, so life hits and you have to finish stuff. So that was so that's what happens, is especially when it's your last year of high school, to this young man to my left and to your right. He had to finish up all his learnings. And he did. He finished them up pretty darn good, if I do say so myself, and if he does say so himself, hopefully, right? Hopefully he won't do like I did when I got into the University of North Carolina at Wilmington. Go Seahawks? Are they the Seahawks?
Are they?
I think they are. I almost said 49ers, but that's UNC Charlotte. Wrong UNC. Yep, that's right. I was accepted into the University of North Carolina at Wilmington, and guess what happened next? I went to orientation, and that's the summer orientation where you go and you take your buddy from high school that's going to Wilmington with you, that you're going to room with, and you got the whole world figured out. And I got there, and it was so awesome. It was great. We had an awesome weekend. Me and Mark Carter from high school, who we all affectionately called Mumbles because he talked very mumbly, and So what is next, Abraham? I see that up there.
I also see that, but you talking.
I talk and talk and talk.
Anyway,
so basically, I went to Wilmington and it was fun and I had a great weekend. But that's all that lasted of my Wilmington UNC at Wilmington education. It was amazing because the next step was that they sat you down and they signed you up for your classes for the upcoming freshman year. And I sat down and I went into the counselor's office with my dad. And my mom didn't even go with me. It was one of the few things that my mom I don't think she went with us. And she might have, though. I don't know. But anyway, my dad and I were in the office, and the guy says, "Oh, that's funny. I don't see you in our system." And I was like, "Well, that's funny. I got an acceptance letter right here." And he says, "Oh, I see what happened now. Your senior year's GPA in high school brought your GPA that we accepted you with down 3/100ths of a point, and we can't accept you to the University of North Carolina at Wilmington." That's the first time I'd ever cursed in front of my father because I wasn't too happy. But I just sat there and said, "Well, what do we do now?" So you know what I did? I got back in the car and I rode back to the Outer Banks with my dad and my mom. And my mom picked up the phone and she called the lovely University of North Carolina at Boone, a.k.a. Appalachian State. And that is where I graduated after a really hard freshman first semester of academic probation, which I was on until the time I graduated. So kids, don't let this be a what do you call it? An example to you and your further education. So yeah, but anyway, what we got so far, Abraham? I'm hoping that Abraham doesn't do that. His exams are really good. His grades are all straight A. I think he's honor society. I don't know. His mom keeps up with all that. Actually, I'm just kidding. Hey, Wayne Jarrett, what's up, buddy? What's up, Wezzo? Wezzo, you rock even harder. And and Wayne Jarrett. We have got to get you to paint another guitar soon. We just got to pick one out. We're going to pick one out that's going to be special to us and have you paint it. And just got to go for it, man, because the one that you painted for me in '88 still gets a lot of airtime around here, especially in the hands of this young man. I would have you paint this one, but we'll tell you about that later and why it can't be painted. That'd be kind of cool.
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. All right, so we hope everybody's doing good. Abraham, what's been going on with you besides graduating high school? He actually formally graduates this coming Sunday.
Yes.
But his last day of school was?
I don't even know. What? Last Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It was Wednesday.
Yeah. One of those days where it's so weird in high school now. And I say that like an old man. You know, it's kind of so weird in high school now because we used to basically have a somebody said, Watoon said, I had no idea you went to UNCW. Well, I did for about 2 hours. No, actually, I did for 48 hours. I went to their orientation, and then I was ceremoniously expulsed from UNCW. I want you guys to demo my Quartervox. Yeah, man, it's still sitting right back there, wrapped in paisley brown Tolex like a cowboy uses it. The Quartervox, it's under that. It's Wezzo's Quartervox amp. Yeah, Charlie Hunter comes in here, man, and he says, "Dude, I used to have one of those." And you know, he's played through your Quartervox unless you didn't know. So we hope everybody is doing great. What's been happening with you besides graduating high school?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Whole lot of nothing.
He's been running down tunes, I can tell you that.
True.
So what are the tunes you've been running down? So this kid's 18, and most 18-year-olds, you'd be running down some bands that you guys had never heard of if you're my friends. So what tunes have you been running down this week that I came home and said, oh, wow, that was quick? There's two of them.
David Lee Roth, I know that.
David Lee Roth. Which David Lee Roth song?
Two. Well, I mean, there's two. Well, what were they? Oh, it was Knucklebones.
Knucklebones off of? Skyscraper.
Yeah, first track.
I'm a skyscraper.
And then Hot Dog and a Shake.
Hot Dog and a Shake off of Skyscraper also. That's some good Steve Vai right there, friends and neighbors.
And
if you haven't heard it, everybody loves Eat 'em and Smile, but we love Skyscraper too. So
digging into some White Snake.
Oh, you were? What song?
I don't remember. I think Slip of the Tongue.
Oh. So what happens is I go to bed, you know, like normal people do. Well, actually, I go to bed even later than normal people, but still. This is not an industry. Like, I'm not in this industry so I can sleep until noon and work until 2 a.m. I got over that stuff a long time ago.
That makes one of us.
That makes one of you. Right. Well, it just depends on who your clients are. If they call you at 9 o'clock in the morning, then that's what time you got to be there. What time you got to be there. If Eric Gales wants to come in and record a guitar solo at 8 a.m., you go in at 8 a.m., son. So, you ran down, what song did you write? So what he'll do is I go to bed, and the studio at home is right below my bedroom. It's not well insulated, but it's fine, and I don't mind hearing a little guitar as I drift off to sleep. So I heard a little bit of Abe is certified. He is certified. I think he actually needs a card. But he is completely certified. So, and you ran down last night? So what he does is he'll run them down, and then he'll run them down like after school or while I'm working at night, and then I go home and he goes, come back to the studio. And I know when he says that, there's something he's fitting to show me. And so he showed me Hot Dog and a Shake. That was a good one. Really good. Got a great Steve Vai guitar solo in it. And if you're Steve Vai fans like we are, his body of work and just his musical choices of chords and notes and stuff like that, they resonate through whatever he plays on. If it's that Alcatraz record, if it's his solo records, if it's all that stuff. You will get him one. Bam. I hope you get him one. Dude, that'd be awesome. I mean, how can you even step foot on a college campus without a Wezzo certified card? I mean, come on. I mean, that's like, you know, That way when the professor just says, hey, man, you're late turning this paper in, he says, hold on a minute. He pulls it out, and he's like, I really don't need your class because I'm already certified by Wezzo. So, anyway, so nothing else, just running down tunes?
Practicing? Working my pinky.
Working your pinky?
Working my pinky, because I need it. Today, like 2.5 hours. Oh. Nothing but pinky exercise.
So tell me the book that you're running through now. He'll run through he'll get into certain books, certain lesson books.
For now, I'm not running through a book. I was just doing whatever I could do to target my pinky, like. Just keep turning up the metronome.
Yeah,
keep
I
getting
got
fat.
you.
And
I
hammer-ons, oh man.
Yeah?
Just sitting there, then go up, and go up, and go up. And every string, and turn up the metronome. Every string, every fret.
All right.
Turn up the metronome, every string, every fret. It was killing me.
All right.
Killing me. But just doing whatever picking patterns I can figure out with my pinky and whatever fingers I got just across the neck. Get some dexterity going, make it feel like part of my hand for once.
I tell you one thing, I do not play enough guitar anymore at all. This show and whatever songs I got to play it on in the studio, and I say gotta loosely. I don't have to. I love playing guitar, I just don't get as much time to do it. But it's nice to see this kid playing as much guitar as he is, because it reminds me of all the time I should have spent practicing while I was in high school, and then I should have probably spent practicing while I was in college, and probably that I should spend. What'd you knock off?
Phone.
Your phone. You don't need that thing anyway.
True.
So all the time that Watoon says, what? He says, you know too. So, Watoon, it's good to see you back, bro. And I apologize that I didn't return your voicemail. I just realized that I didn't return it today as I was going through and deleting voicemails. So do me a huge favor. Call me back again, because I got a little more time. I don't have a ton of time this week, but I got a little bit more time this week and next week than I normally have. So let's talk about what's been happening in the studio, because it is live from Earthtones Recording Studio. Last week, I worked on the past couple of weeks, I've worked on a new and up-and-coming podcast from someone that I can't name. And when I tell you what's just happened with it, you'll know why I can't name them. So we went through and we shot 5 episodes. We shot them. I'm not a video guy, but I shot them and recorded the audio for the audio podcast, and there's a YouTube version kind of like this thing. And so we did that, shot 5 of them. They weren't crazy about them. Wanted the format better, camera angles a little better. So we started reshooting them and reshot 2, and we're gonna shoot 2 episodes within a day. One yesterday morning at 10 a.m. and one at 5:30 p.m. last night, and in between getting finished with the 10 a.m. shoot or the 11 a.m. shoot, I got finished with it at 2 o'clock. Between that and 5:30, there was an email sent from Warner Brothers, and they put the kibosh on the podcast because it was in direct competition to a TV show. And they are in charge of this person in their show. So it was completely like, okay, that's good. I'd rather something get canned because it was direct competition to something. It was good enough to be direct competition to something, as opposed to it wasn't good enough. That is no good when it's not good enough. So you won't see any of the fruits of my labor for the past 3 weeks. But hey, it was fun, and it's you got to make good relationships with people, and those will continue moving forward. New records out this week. There's a new single from Mod Cons. Maybe Abraham can find that. I think there's a YouTube link to it. Maybe we can find that and stick it in the chat. Mod Cons, M-O-D-C-O-N-S. That's Charlie Hunter, Peter Cancora, and George Sluppick. There's a new single out called The Auger. It's a really, really great song. instrumental. Charlie's doing his hybrid guitar thing. If you're not familiar with that, check it out. And Slupik on the drums, Memphis groove all day long, and old 50s sounding kind of rock and roll that Peter wrote, and he's playing I think he's playing tenor sax on most of it. And it's really killer, and it was all cut live as live can be, mixed in mono. And I think I might have even, did I master that record? I might have even mastered that record. I'm not sure. Really, really, really good record. That's the third single from it coming out this week. There is, we finished working on a great record from a young lady named Candace Ivory. Don't know if we've done a live stream since then. I don't think we have. Maybe. So Candace Ivory, we had, again, Charlie Hunter producing for Little Village Records. Hey, Del Cole, how are you doing, man? Thank you for tuning in. And so we had him in. So Little Village Records is a great label out of, where is Jim? Jim's out in California. I think he's in L.A. And Jim Pugh is the fella's name. He's awesome. He used to play keys for a myriad of different blues bands, Robert Cray being one of them. And he, Jim has a great ear for finding people and pairing them up with producers and stuff. So Charlie Hunter has started producing a lot of records and a lot of artists. So they basically fly them in here. We'll put the band together. They come in and they record. And kids, this is the way to do it, all right? If you ever wonder about it, people come in here and they'll spend 3 or 4 hours because it's all the money they got. You book 5 days, right? We booked 5. We tracked. We had 3 set aside for tracking, and the next 2 were set aside for mixing. So at the end of 5 days, you have a record. And yes, it is more expensive than doing it 3 or 4 hours at a time, but it's so much more continuous. It's so much more efficient, and it's one big thought process that doesn't get, stopped by time or anything like that. So very cool, very cool process. So we were supposed to track for 3 days, and we actually tracked for 2, and then did some punches, I think we did some punches and overdubs. No, I mean, maybe like 2 punches, but the majority of this record was live. Drum kit, meaning I think there was maybe a kick and a snare and a hat and a ride, and that is it. And so then we had Brevin Hampton and Atiba Rory from Durham and from Winston. I think Atiba is now at UNCG on African percussion. Lots of kungas and so many drums that I can't even name. These guys are like so traditional with that stuff. So that Charlie Hunter was on bass guitar, which is really cool. It wasn't his hybrid instrument. And then he would actually play some other guitar stuff on top of it. I don't think he was playing hybrid. I don't know. Was he playing hybrid? No. I don't think he was playing hybrid. Maybe. I don't know.
On which project?
The Candace Ivory record.
I know he played guitar on some.
He played guitar on some because he actually played this guitar on some of the stuff,
really?
And he played his and he played his Music Master.
He played his pre-war.
The pre-war guitars. Find that link and stick that in the chat. Pre-war Guitars is a company out of Hendersonville. Is it Hendersonville? Somewhere like that. And they are making spec to spec Martin pre-war guitars from like the 20s. Really killer. Really expensive, but unbelievable. Like you play one of these guitars, and it's like there's no detail left out. They play amazing. They play just like those old Martins, and like I say, two spec from a lot of those old ones anyway. So Abraham's going to stick that pre-war guitars in the chat. Played the pre-war, and he played a Fender Music Master 59 Fender Music Master. As he swears they're better than the 60s ones. I'm like, look, man, they're all like $2,000 now, and they're all student model guitars from that time, which probably didn't cost $50, but they sound amazing. And the thing with those Music Masters is you got one pickup, one choice, one pickup, one volume knob. It's right up where it should be. It's short scale, and it just does its thing. I think he puts 13s on it. And they're so heavy, man. They're like playing telephone cable. It's crazy.
Watoon's got a good question.
All right, hit me.
It's kind of similar to what we were doing last time, where it evolved into sort of a lesson type thing.
Okay.
Which was fun.
Let's do this.
It says, can y'all do something on ways to find root notes, pentatonic, in any key? Just wondering if there's a formula that you guys know. If this is not relevant to the show, no worries.
Oh, man, it's always relevant to the show. Now, whether I know what's going on or not, and whether Abraham knows what's going on or not, I know he does. So I think last time you asked about pentatonic stuff anyway, which is sort of the wheelhouse that I tend to stay in because, and I mean, when I say I stay in it, people tell me that I play in all sorts of different stuff, and I'm like, I just play where I know, where I hear it going, and and I think I talked last time about doing acoustic gigs week after week after week after week and night after night after night, and just basically for 3 hours, you know, sitting there accompanying someone and being the one that plays the guitar solos and just playing 3 hours worth of guitar solos. It's kind of on an acoustic guitar. You kind of got to figure there's not a lot of trickery and fireworks that you can do, you know, with an electric, you know, or hey now, no more acoustic gigs. That's right. Clay Howard says no more acoustic gigs. Wah, wah, wah. Is that what, you know what the 3 dots at the end of something always means? No more acoustic gigs. It's like straight mouth. It's like the slanty mouth emoji. Yeah, man. Years of them with Clay, Morgan, Howard sitting to my side and basically playing guitar solos for 3 hours a night. You kind of hear, you learn to hear your next note. Maybe not every next note, but you learn to hear a lot of them because your brain, especially on acoustic guitar, doesn't have a lot of places to go. You don't really plan stuff out. I play what I know and I play where I know. But if I'm standing out there and I'm taking a chance at something and there's 100 people in the audience, I'm just kind of like, woo, what am I doing? And then there's that one note you're going to land on that you have to bend up to the half step, like Marty Friedman does when you land on the wrong note, because you're only half step bend away from the correct note, as long as you make it sound that way. All right, so Watoon, pentatonic stuff. So let's see what we got. Ooh.
First, let's go over what guitars we're playing.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we went right to guitars, which is good. I can talk about studio
Also,
stuff all day.
Aiden says hello.
Aiden, my man. Aiden. So I want you guys to know, this is the first live stream that Abraham and I have put on by ourselves completely. I had my new intern Jessica in here today. She was on the side rig editing video. She edited video up until about 6 o'clock. She was like, I'm out. I was like, all right. So we set up all the cameras. If anything goes wrong, it is on me tonight. But man, Aiden, we miss you, dude. Does it look okay? Does everything look good? Let me let Aiden check all the angles out right quick. Aiden monitoring from home. Yeah, just look at all 3 of these cameras, make sure everything looks cool. Yeah, no. That one's a little low, but I just felt like a low shot tonight for some odd reason. I don't know why. And my tablecloth's all wrinkled up. Oh well. It's all wrinkled. I don't even care. I do care, but don't. So whoo, guitar sounds good, son. All right, so back to Watoon's question.
Already cheating to the pedals.
I'm cheating straight to the pedal because I'm in the clean thing, and it's the Prince of Tone. By the way, let's get the shot. Let's get the down shot. That'll be my first pedal. I'll just go right to my first one. So my first one tonight is the Prince of Tone by Analog Man. What's killer to me, and this was my Christmas present from Abraham and my wife and my other son, but I guarantee you that I know out of the 3 of them who picked this out because I don't know that the other ones would know where the website is. But
Website.
Where the internet is, or wherever you bought it from. Wherever you bought it from. I think he probably procured it from a guy in a Dollar General parking lot somewhere. It's like, hey, you got a Prince of Tone?
That'd be more fun.
That'd be so The Prince of Tone, you know what's killer to me is I just realized it says Amaze by Analog Man. What is that?
I noticed it.
This is the Analog Man Prince of Tone, in case anybody was wondering. The King of Tone, which is one of the most sought-after kind of pedals in the world now as far as pre-order. There's a pre-order list. I think it's 5 years long. The waiting list is 5 years long. We got on it about a year ago or less than a year ago.
Summer.
So, hey, by the time you're out of college,
go.
I already got your, I'll tell you what, I already got your college graduation present.
Perfect.
But you'll forget about it.
I will. That's
and
the
what
best part.
Yeah, you forget about it, and then they'll be like, your King of Tone will be ready in 6 months. It'll cost you $5,000. No, it's not $5,000.
They're actually really well priced if you wait 5 years.
If you wait 5 years, if you want. But what happens is then when you get yours, there's so many custom options you can get on it. When you get yours and then you want to sell it, the reverb price on those things is stupid, which is why we're into pedals.
Well, I mean, if you wait 5 years and you want to sell it, well, why would you do that?
I know it. Anyway, so I'm playing through the Prince of Tone, which was so graciously and thoughtfully given to me by this young man to my left and to your right. And my guitar is a Gibson. It is a gold top Les Paul Deluxe. And it has the mini. Oh, I'm sitting here holding it up, showing it to you, and y'all don't even got the camera down. Here we go. So that's my Les Paul right there. Woo. Up above the microphone. Man. I got to get a haircut, man. I look like a freak on the camera. I'm like, man, it's getting crazy. So I want y'all to know, unless I'm here at work and I'm at home, this is up in a man bun, but I ain't going to man bun y'all on the live stream because that's just treacherous. You don't want that. Gets it out of my face, but hey, you know. And then when you realize, hey, I grew it out long enough to put it in a ponytail or a man bun, you kind of want to get it cut it off because then I can't pull it back. Ain't that a thing? You got hair longer than me now.
Yeah.
Yeah? Hippie.
Think.
Yeah, hippie.
You got more hair, but mine's longer. I don't know how that works.
It's called Look at Your Grandfather.
That's true.
Woo, that's some scorching guitar tone right there. Okay, so what are you playing, Abraham, before we get into Watoon's question?
So, I'm actually playing another Christmas gift of yours.
Clay said, I learned how to sing during those. I did get something out of it. You know what I got out of it? I'm going home with $150 in my pocket. And if anybody can name in the chat who said that infamously. Gail says, I grew my hair back to 80s length again. Good God, man. I had to start growing mine in the late 80s, so by the time mine got grown out to look cool in the 80s, it was already the 90s, and everybody was cutting their hair off. And I was like, well, damn it, man. Anyway, that's what happens. As Papa would say, I'm always a day late and $1 short. Name of my next record, which should be coming out soon if I can just sit down and get away from all this work. Anyway, Abraham Johnson is playing.
So, I'm playing... Oh, there we go. There we go. I'm playing another Christmas gift of yours from me. And it is...
I think if we just keep going long enough, this whole table will be piled up with Christmas gifts to me from you.
It is an Ibanez RG 7-string fixed hardtail bridge.
Yeah.
You never really think about that. But 7-string hardtail bridge, double humbucker that we replaced with these neon green ones. They were originally black, and they were all right.
They were okay.
They were nothing special. But we got a set of these Steve Vai signature pickups.
They're DiMarzios. I think are they the Breeds?
I don't know. I have no idea.
He's got 2 7-string pickups, the Breed and the something else.
The Blaze.
The Breed and the Blaze. They're one of those.
The Blaze was the original. Is the Evolution 7?
I'd have to look. I think I bought those things straight from DiMarzio because I wanted to get the color. So, okay, sorry. Go ahead. Carry on.
7-string RG signed by the man himself, Steve Vai.
There you go. So he's playing his signed 7-string Steve Vai guitar with green, alien green pickups in it. Kim King, what's up, buddy?
But hopefully, if things go according to plan, we should have another 7-string in due time.
we are searching down some holy grails. So
We always are.
Abraham plays his floral gem.
Oh yeah.
And I swear to you, we are not just like all about Steve Vai like groupies. I love his music. I think he's one of the most creative guys in the world. His guitars and his branding is top notch and genius. But it's just a thing. It's like this weird thing that you get into, and his body of work carries through and through and through from David Wattoon. So basically we kind of dig his stuff, and
A little bit.
and like him a lot, and all that. But it's like everything we own is not Steve Vai stuff. I
He's
swear.
just
So
got.
I have
the
some clothes
best.
that don't have his name on them. I swear I do. But you actually have.
I do have.
You actually have some clothes. We'll talk. Let's tell you about this quickly because I tell you what. Next live stream, you know what we're gonna do? We should bring
yeah.
all that stuff in. Okay, everybody watching the live stream
Just-
right now, hold us to it because I know you guys are really good about getting in the chat and going, "Hey, Hey, last week you said something," or like Wattoon jumps in and says, "Hey, man, talk to me about this," right? Which is cool. So and again, I'm just literally sitting here saying, "Oh, we're not these like groupies or anything that follow Steve Vai around," because we're really not. I just dig his music. I dig his body of work. I think it's awesome, and it just keeps growing. And every new thing he releases is killer. But we were fortunate enough to go online and take part in an auction of his stuff through. It wasn't Julian's Auctions in Las Vegas, and when you see these auctions of like rock star memorabilia, you always think, wow, that's nice to look at, but I could never afford anything, right? And so we were down, I think we were on vacation.
We were at the beach.
Yeah, we were on vacation, and I had my laptop when the auction was going on. And I had gone online, and I had looked at some things, and I said, let's bid on some things that look like we could at least be competitive on them. And if we decide that we can get them, it's cool. And if we can't, maybe we'll split something, or something like that. And so Abraham said, I want.
There were a few things.
But what was your.
There were a lot of things we wanted.
But in general,
But-
Abraham wanted clothes.
That's true.
Because there were some clothes. And when you buy Rockstar's clothes, most of the time a place like Hard Rock is going to buy them, and they're going to put them in a case and stuff like that. And people buy them because, obviously if I bought Steve Vai's clothes, I'm like 5'0", I'm wider than I am tall because I've just gotten shorter and wider as I get older, which is unfortunate. But hey, welcome to life, kids. Welcome to 55. Welcome to 55, 56 coming up in 2 weeks, something like that.
Soon.
Whenever my birthday is, as long as I can remember.
Orientation.
It's during.
We'll be in Boone.
It's during orientation. Watch out, Boone, North Carolina. 56 years old, coming in hot. Anyway, so we went online to this auction thing, and and like we don't have a lot of money. We run around and buy these pedals for cheap and stuff like that, But it's not like we're made out of money, and we're like, hey, we're gonna go to some Rockstar auction or anything like that. So anyway, we go online. Kevin Knight. We go online to this thing and start to watch the auctions, and you could bid ahead of time on stuff. Like when they'd sent you the email, they're like, you can bid ahead of time on stuff. I was like, great. So like some of these opening bids were like $75. Yeah. I was like, great. So I saw some things. My favorite record of all time, not just of Steve Vai's, but of all time, is this record called Flexible. And it's his first solo guitar record that he ever put out, and he has an addendum record to it called Flexible Leftovers, and they did reissues of it that have all the songs on a CD, and they have all the stuff. So Flexible came out before I really knew who he was. Flexible was like me going backwards in his catalog, but once I heard it, it was so 70s and dry sounding, and like all the guitars were true and they were real. They just sounded like they had a microphone in front of them. There wasn't a lot of. It sounded like a Frank Zappa record, like super dry. The drums are really dry. The guitars are just like in your face, but they're not 80s processed. And that's the 80s is when I bought that record. And I didn't want to hear it. Like 80s stuff was great, but it's just like, man, every band started sounding the same except for the players. Like all the sounds were the same, right? They're super glossy and highly produced and all that. Aiden says, Hey, happy early birthday. Hey, all right, thanks, man. So anyway, so this album, Flexible, is just my favorite album, and it just became my favorite album. I don't know why. I can listen to it, and there's so many little things. There's full songs that are short, and they're really good and concise, and then there's these long, sprawling pieces. But he recorded it on an 8-track reel-to-reel. So it's not like his records now where there's 1,000 tracks and there's a million parts going on. You're like, wow, how's all this stuff happening? Yeah, you don't have to have a scientific brain to understand this record. But it's just guitars just perfectly constructed together and songs, and some of the like one of the singers sounds like Meatloaf. It's killer. Like, it's really good. I mean, it's just my favorite. So anyway.
Oh, and what's your favorite part? Your favorite instrument?
My favorite instrument
included on there.
That's included on there? Got to be Glockenspiel. No? Wait a minute. My favorite instrument that's included on there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Are you schooling me on my own favorite record?
You know it. I know it. It's on not all of the tracks. It's on maybe 1 or 2. Maybe 3 if you're lucky.
My favorite instrument that's on there?
It's just the best sounding. Very unique addition.
All right, let me think. Thank you. I need that. Can I try to play that too? I'm waiting. Favorite instrument on the whole record, Flexible. Jeez, let me just run down the songs in my head. Christy Jackson, hello. I got a song I need to produce for you soon. Sorry, the Jeopardy music's playing. Are you gonna have to remind me of what it is?
Trumpets.
Oh my God, yes! He's got a trumpet section. He's got a horn section on that record, and it's like all of a sudden it's like a mariachi band joins in, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. So yes, thank you for reminding me on that.
Yep.
Anyway, so getting around that whole thing, there was a hello, Mrs. Jackson, Miss Jackson. How's Mr. Jackson? Tell him I love him. Mr. Jackson, Mr. Jackson. So if you guys see Christy Jackson in our chat here, she is my longtime friend. She is amazing songwriter and singer and player and all that good stuff. And I just love her and her husband to death. They're awesome. And just wanted to say hello because I see her in the chat. She wrote a little hit for Reba McEntire back in the 90s called Take It Back. It's a pretty famous song. Look it up. Look it up, son. You're dealing with royalty here. The Queen. So anyway, so the Steve Vai record that we're talking about. How did I get on talking about Steve Vai for 15 minutes? I do that enough anyway. So we went to this auction online, and there was a bunch of original artwork from Flexible and Flexible Leftovers, meaning that they're like these hand drawings, and when you cut and paste in Photoshop now, people just actually cut and paste things together, pieces of paper, drawings, and stuff like that. I bid the opening bid of like $75 or something like that on these two, and they came in, and I think is where it's kind of like eBay where you could set a max thing. I think I set a max of maybe like $100 on each one, but it's a big, thick, massive thing full of this artwork, and I'm thinking, oh man, these collector guys are going to come on and just blow me out of the water. And apparently nobody cares about Flexible as much as I care about Flexible, because I won both lots of artwork. Original artwork, and I'm so scared to take them anywhere. They're at home, and they're in the cardboard, and we take them out every now and then, and we look at them, and we tape them all back up in the cardboard. But it's amazing. So we will bring, how about we bring all that stuff on here, maybe next week. I got to look at my calendar. Let me look on my calendar right quick, and see if we may be doing it next week. I don't know what I got on my calendar. I've got a session
be free next Wednesday.
You should be.
I should. Well, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
It depends on camp.
Yeah, true. So if we do it next Wednesday, if we don't do it on the 14th, we might do it on the 21st.
By then, I'll probably definitely be working at camp.
Okay, so maybe we can do it on the 14th.
I think we can do it next week.
I got a session until about 4, but that's fine. Once we're done, we set it up today in hour and a half ourselves, 2 hours, something like that. Anyway, so if we do that next week, here's what we'll do. I'll bring on the stuff that I won in the auction, and then Abraham, Do you want to tell them what you procured in this auction because you wanted to, or you want to surprise them?
We can wait.
All right, we'll wait and surprise you. All right, let's get on to the guitaring, because Watoon has asked us a question about. Read the question again. And I'm sorry, Watoon, I took about a half an hour to literally just talk about what's going on.
Oh, and also speaking of more Steve Vai playing the.
Here.
Hit that.
Let me hit the top down. And bring it over here where we can see it.
There we go.
Abraham is also playing through. Not that we're Steve Vai junkies or groupies. Junkie guys, good song.
But the Ibanez Jemini Distortion, Steve Vai signature, dual-sided distortion pedal with lights. Yeah. Also, signed. Wow. I know.
You're kidding me.
What are the odds?
What are the odds? What are the odds?
So we've got all that going on.
All right. So tell them about this pedal since you're playing through. Tell them what it does.
Ooh, it sounds good.
It does sound great.
That's what it does. So, it's got a green side. Well, first we've got dry guitar signal. Then we've got our green side. Each side has a drive, tone, and a level. So that's kind of the lighter distortion side of the pedal.
I think that green side, I think the reason that it's green is because it's supposed to be like an Ibanez tube screamer kind of thing going on.
Maybe.
I think, but I don't know. I just know that green is his thing. That's why we have the pickups in there. Woo! Oh, my Lord.
So then we've got the red side, which is kind of your harsher. Your green is more of like an overdrive, you know?
Yeah? Yeah, like an overdrive as opposed to like, woo!
As opposed to distortion.
Now, we'll say that the red side is supposed to be really specifically crafted for the heavy 7-string stuff. Woo! Woo! That's all right. Hey, I didn't know all the notes up to there. There you go.
So there's that.
So if you can go find one of these are discontinued. I found it before the pedal thing started blowing up. I found it on Reverb. I think I paid like $200 for it or something like that. You can find it, but they're an incredibly useful guitar pedal. But the coolest part about them is, you ready?
So, here, hit the top down.
Let me hit the top down.
There's these two little black plastic buttons right there on each compartment, and you go whoop, and they flip open, and you've got
one has your battery plug.
Yeah, one is for batteries, and the other is for your spare battery.
Because what do you always run out of at a gig? Battery.
I can say that for sure.
Yep, Abraham. So Abraham's 18, right? He's already played more gigs by 18 than I had played by the time I was probably 25, and he ran out of battery. Had a bad battery in his active pickup in a Les Paul.
That's what you get for playing active pickups.
That's what you get for playing active pickups. It's what I always say.
Yep.
If you guys read the articles, if you read some recent guitar stuff, some recent Guitar Magazine stuff, Kirk Hammett is now seeing the light of the passive pickups because he owns Peter Green's original 59 Les Paul nicknamed Greenie, and they've done a big reissue of that guitar, an Epiphone Greenie and a Gibson Greenie, and they're so ridiculously expensive, but he's literally taking that guitar out live on Metallica tours and playing Metallica songs with Peter Green's old Les Paul, which some of you would think is blasphemy, but hey, man, you can only collect them and put them in a case for so long. You just got to play the damn things. So he takes it out and plays it, and he swears by passive pickups now. He's a massive EMG active pickup endorser and has been for years, so maybe EMG will start making passive pickups for him. Okay, Watoon, back to the question at hand. And I'll turn down. There you go. We're even now. Good. All right, that's good. All right, so Batoon's question was?
Can y'all do something on ways to find root notes pentatonic in any key? Just wondering if there's a formula that you guys know.
Root note pentatonic. I guess you're talking about getting where to start your where to start, or where your root notes are.
More stuff from Watoon. Since y'all are talking Steve Vai, can you guys do a Steve Vai thing together from the Zappa days, even if just making it up?
Oh my!
Hear y'all jam.
Oh my Lord! From the Zappa days.
That's tough.
That's just not something that you whip out and play.
Maybe next week. Maybe we'll work something up.
How about we work something up and we do that next week? Is that cool? Is that cool? Because basically what you'd want to do is like play fourths against each other. Okay, so why I started in B flat, I don't know. So speaking of finding root notes in keys, so if you're looking at pentatonic stuff, I know that if I'm playing an A pentatonic, the way that I think about my root notes is that when I play an A, especially pentatonic, I'll go to this box here. Am I in the thing? In the camera? So my box will be here in A. So basically, I got an open string, A. I got a 5th fret, A. The next A root note that I want to go up to is going to be my octave A, which I know is 2 strings and 2 frets up, right? So I've already got. So I got those. Then I know that my next A is actually here. And I'm thinking in terms of shapes, because pentatonic box is easier to play because it's like a shape that you can move around to everywhere. So I think root being there, right? So that's 5th fret, A. So I got open A. Then I got 2 frets. I got 2 strings and 2 frets up. Then I got 2 strings and 3 frets up because I'm on the B string, which is a step lower. So I got that, right? And then I got the same note right there. That's going to be basically just like your E and your E on the guitar. Anywhere I move that to, I know that I got that. So there's where my root notes are in my scale. So what I will do is I'm really bad about like starting on a root note. I'm horrible about like I want to go right to, you know. I want to go root. I want to go right to the root. So yeah, so I'll go like. So I'm still sitting on that root. I'm really bad about that. So every time I'm landing on the root, right? Because I want that root to sing. I want that root note to be like, I intended to land there, because it's like passing notes against a really common chord like an A. But I always want to know like, hey, here's where I'm landing. So if I land on other places besides roots. I always want to feel like I want to resolve down at the root. And that's back up. Right still. So I can sit in pentatonic box against it, but I want to resolve. But you see me landing on that root like every time, because that's what I want to hear, like in a blues thing, which is where your box is going to be. So all the other stuff that goes on, all the stuff is like happening across that, because I don't want to sit on anything like that. But if you do sit on something, I mean playing a note over something that doesn't really like, that's not a root. So I'll try to play a solo without landing on a root in the box that you're talking about, right? So So everywhere I'm landing sounds weird, because that's where you want to sit. That's where I feel like I want to land according to that. But anyway, so I don't know that's what you're looking for, Watoon. Maybe Abraham can expound a little more.
Let's see. Let's get out of A. Let's go somewhere else.
All right, where you want to go?
Just for the sake of application.
I actually hate playing an A.
You know what I'm saying?
I like E is my favorite key because it's got two open strings.
Can you go
in it.
out of the key, and as long as you end on original key root, are you good? That is subjective.
Yeah, I mean, it just you can play anything, man. I mean,
Here,
honestly,
let's do.
You want to do so I have an exercise called "There Are No Wrong Notes."
You do play F.
Alright. Woo, I'm out of tune. You know why? Because I'm playing a Les Paul. Ooh, hold on. Let me get in tune while Abraham sits here. Alright, so I'll turn down a little bit.
Something like that.
Turn yourself up a little bit so I can hear you a little more.
Okay.
Cool? Oh, you're clipping. Sorry. I think that's your master clip. So
if we're doing F, I'm trying to think of ways to play out of the key in a way that is so outrageous, unthinkable, but make it make sense. Like, let's see, you play F, and I will play.
Am I playing F minor or F major?
Just do power chords.
Power chords. All right.
Don't matter. You do F, and I'm gonna play I'm gonna go out and play F sharp pentatonic, which is just, it's not gonna sound great, right?
But what he's asking is if you're playing there, right?
So
then
what I'm gonna do
you land in F.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna play in F sharp, but I'm gonna figure out a way to come back into the F pentatonic.
All right.
To make it work, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So let's see.
So I'm gonna play power chords. So basically, you're not committed to major or minor if I'm playing the power chord.
But
right?
I'm just gonna play F sharp pentatonic. Not gonna sound good. If you just go back to the root, it's gonna sound better than whatever you're doing.
Do that again. Not wrong.
That's what you think.
But are you resolving?
That riff is in F sharp. Because it wants to go. But it's going.
But see, I like that though.
Exactly.
Well, what happens is when you start to play it in a key like that, to me, my ear hears where that wants to go in a certain mode, right? You guys know about like the modes and all that stuff. I'm not a really good modal guy as far as knowing them. I know the names of them. I couldn't tell you which one is which.
I think it's just a matter of play and then just figure it out. Because you're gonna hear what you're playing, and you don't have to be super experienced to hear it. You might need some experience to know how to bring that to the guitar, but you're gonna play some and like play F. You're gonna hear that, and you're gonna hear, and you're gonna think that wants to go down there. Gonna want to go back down to the F, or maybe up. Right.
Yep.
So
and again, that was one of those things like I was talking about. Aiden Foley says, all I know is I love the sound of Dorian. Yes, man. Yes. Dorian is like totally like heavy metal, like 80s metal. So the modes are all, the modes are all just what step of the major scale you decide to start on, what note or step. I do know that much about it.
I think that's Dorian.
Is that A Dorian?
A Dorian. Yeah. I think.
Yeah. So Watoon, one thing that you want to do, man, is that you want to or Flaming Lips? Yeah, man. So what you want to do, man, is you want to start to train your ear, and it's never too late, man. People just like, can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I'm like, man, I feel like I literally want to take a summer off from life at 55, and I want to learn all the stuff that I did not learn about the guitar. There are things that I know how to do that I could go out and play for 3 hours. I can't say I'm going to keep you interested for 3 hours, but I'll go pull off a gig for 3 hours, and people go, hey, man, you're a great guitar player. I'm like, thanks. And I'm thinking, man, I only know like 1 or 2 places to play, and I move them around. But at the same time, it's like you kind of have to know, you have to train your ear as to what is not right. And your ear will start to hear increments. It'll start to hear musical steps, like a half step or a whole step. And if you're playing in the wrong spot and you hit a wrong note, you got to realize you're only a half step or only 1 or 2 frets away from the correct note. Yep. So you have to know what that is. And if you hit it, just, if you hit it and it's not right, either play it twice in a row and fool everybody. And,
True.
What does this say? I have missed the show. Glad you're back, Terry V. Woo. Hey, man, we're glad you're back too, buddy. Sorry we took so long off, but hey, we've missed it too. But we're having a great time tonight. And if the batteries go dead, we're just gonna keep on going until they all go dead, or maybe we'll just stop in a minute and go get something to eat. But we're having a good time. We have a fun time doing this, and anybody that joins in and watches, it's always fun. I feel like even if you join in for 5 minutes, that you're watching the whole time, and the interaction is fun. And it's cool for us. I'm not the guitar player that's going to go on Instagram and like blaze solos and go like, hey, look how great I am. It's like, but I've been doing it long enough to know like what's right and what's wrong. That's a big part of like producing records is I know what's right and I know what's wrong or what works and what doesn't work, more or less, I guess I should say. So it's really just kind of learning as you play guitar. Like, you got to be honest with yourself. I'm playing something and it kind of sucks. It doesn't work. And then, but make yourself learn what works. Like the pentatonic scale is really easy to fit a lot of stuff in, you know?
It's not like there's ever going to be a set, like, there's never going to be something that it's like, this sounds good and this doesn't sound good, and that's that for everybody.
Right.
It's all going to be based on what you like.
Exactly.
So if you just keep playing and figure out, I like to play this over this, and I don't like to play this over this because it sounds dissonant and bad. I don't want to play F sharp over F, but some people do.
Right.
And some people are like, hey, that sounds cool. I can make that work.
Yeah.
I can play F sharp pentatonic over F, and I'll make it sound great. And they make it sound how they want to make it sound, and they're happy with it. So just make it work.
Abraham for president. Hallelujah. That's what I say. Yes, but yeah, and that's it. Is you have to. It's really all about also too, like what you want to do with playing guitar. You know, like we listened to, speaking of Mr. Vi, we listened to Mr. Vi sit, you know, and he says, if your goal of learning how to play guitar is to sit around with your friends and with an acoustic guitar and strum chords and sing along to a bunch of familiar songs, and that's all you want to do with guitar, then that's great. Can you work at that? Like, work at what you want to do. If what you want to do is be something that's like unattainable, I'm not going to play like Eddie Van Halen. My mechanics aren't like that. My brain isn't wired like that. My brain hears it and I see it on paper and I understand it, but my fingers don't move like Eddie Van Halen's, and his didn't move like his heroes either. And so he played like him. So a lot of that is really like letting go and playing. Like, you have to realize, like, this is how I play. But figuring out how you play is the hardest part, because everybody wants to play like someone else, but you never can. Terry V says, there are no rules. Jeff Beck was the master. I don't care about the rules. If I don't break the rules at least 10 times every song, then I'm not doing my job. Man, you are exactly right. And I've thought lately about I have like players on standby ready to go out and play gigs, and I have places that would book me, and I really just need to get together and rehearse and get my crap together. I haven't played guitar live so much, and I really just need to shed guitar a whole lot. But I think about shows that I would go out and play, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm getting to the point now where I could go out with a band, I could play an hour and a half, and we could just sit on a groove for an hour and a half. And I'd like to maybe solo a little bit, but I don't have 3 hours worth of stuff to go out and show you, because when Not yet. Well, not yet. I'm just saying, playing wise, that there's situations to where I want to go out and go like, okay, I'm going to go set up in the corner, because you realize that a lot of these gigs that you can pick up now that are like in breweries and stuff like that a lot of the music, it's not necessarily like show. Like, we used to go out, man, I used to play gigs when I was his age and a little bit older than him, maybe 22, and we would play in rock and roll clubs, man, like the curtain would come down, like we were in the Coliseum, and there'd be like 200 people out there. We didn't even know who they were. And I mean, we would play to audiences that big, and we're playing cover songs, and man, it was like it's like we were spoiled rotten learning how to play like that, because so many of the opportunities that you have to play a gig now is you are backing music, and there are people that are going to be there, but they're not there to see you, and they might care if you're there and they might not. They want to hear familiar stuff. It's your job to keep your place in the gig. And my whole thing is, I just want to go out and play gigs of stuff that I want to play. I want to play my own stuff. I want to play covers that I want to play. And I don't really care if anybody else likes it or not, to be honest with you. And I think that if you're genuine with yourself with your guitar playing, and you take on that attitude that, like, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to play this guitar and it sounds amazing to me, don't care what anybody else says about it. Like, sit down and play and figure out what you want to do. And if it sounds amazing to you, you're the only person you got to please. If it sounds amazing to you and somebody else says, hey, man, you suck, then just tell them, up yours, man. I don't suck. I think I sound great, So I've, I won't say I've made a career out of it, because it's like not like guitar playing necessarily pays my bills, but this place some days does. And so anyway, that's all the philosophical guitar playing. But Watoon, basically, man, you got to start training your ear to hear pitch on the guitar, on the instrument. And really, it's training your ear to hear pitch to hear pitch, whether you sing it or you're a good singer, but you can hear it in your brain. You can hear where the next note is going to go. And you only have to be able to do that in half-step increments. You can learn scales and you can learn where things land. But if I know that that I'm playing an A, and I play, and I know that is the next note I want to go to. But I hear that in my head. I hear that one fret slide is bono, and I would sing that to myself if I was just in a room with no guitar. So you got to start to kind of hear pitch. You got to, Wayne Jarrett is back.
Watoon is rolling out.
He's out.
He's rolling. Thing is, all my solos sound the same.
That's all right. So do mine. But what you do is you just play them in different keys over different songs.
Another thing is, listen to more things and learn them, and then use those and expand your vocabulary and just put them in whatever you're playing. There's a ton of licks, especially from Eric. I still play like an A. Yeah, that's just.
So it's like an arpeggio. It's like an arpeggio that basically you picked out of that
just
thing.
Lifted from that, and you can just. It's just something that it's like a harmonic minor.
Yeah.
And you can just resolve it back down to wherever you are.
So it's lifting stuff like that, but then finding out where on the guitar or within the context of a song that it works. I think that's what David Watoon is talking about a lot, is like, how do I take these things? Like, I learned the pentatonic box. How do I just not sit and run it back and forth and back and forth? All right, Watoon, we'll see you, man. Appreciate you hanging in and talking with us.
He says he can't bust out of his comfort zone, and that's fair.
That's understandable, man.
Hard.
It's understandable, and it's a free your mind and the rest will follow thing.
I think
it really is. I mean, I hate to say that, but you kind of have to. I think
part of it is just put on backing track and just play, and try and play something that you're not familiar with.
Go to a place, start a place on the guitar that you're uncomfortable with, and use your ear to get you to a place in that, and put parameters on yourself. I always go back to the same things. If I'm in a gig situation, I want to play comfortable. I don't want to go like, hey, I'm going to branch out and show people what I can do. And even I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm playing all these wrong notes. I'm like, man, that guy's terrible. But, once you learn how to pull it off, okay. Watoon says, do you give lessons, Abraham? Gee, thanks a lot, Watoon. Actually, he could. You got to make some college money, some summer money. Guitar lessons with Abraham Johnson, kids. Sign up for him. Seriously. He'll show you everything that I taught him and everything that everybody else has taught him. That's funny. All right, so there you go.
I don't know how qualified I am, but
oh, you're qualified. You're plenty qualified. All right, so what other pedal you got tonight? Christy Jackson says, got a jet, talk soon. Yes, let's talk soon, Christy Jackson. Please let me know how everything is going. And I hope you weren't too terribly bored out of your mind by us sitting here talking about crazy stuff on this live stream. Once again, let me thank all of y'all, again, for tuning in and just watching. I think it's fun. I have a good time.
There we go.
And, we just have a good time sitting here and doing this and talking about all kinds of stuff. Woo!
Maybe I'll get a little gain.
Yeah, now. What pedal are you playing, son? Woo! Law, turn that up, son. That sounds like COC.
I was just about to say that. This is the MXR Script Phase 90, modified again by Analog Man.
The greatest pedals that exist, aside from the ones that I'm playing right now. God, sounds, oh my gosh. Oh my Lord.
It almost gets like a Leslie.
Oh my God, sounds good. Listen to that. Jeez. Terry V, I might take you up on that, man. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notes just got us flagged and banned from Facebook. I'm just kidding. So do the real super slow phaser like Eddie Van Halen trick and turn the gain up to where it really would be cranking. Yeah. There you go. That's heavy. Good God. Man, that's mean. Son. Yeah. So, kids, that's the Eddie Van Halen trick, all right? Basically is going to be running a MXR Phase 90. They make the EVH Phase 90, but this is a Script 74, kind of like the one that he used. It's a custom shop Script 74, so it's not an original one, but it's a reissue. And you can buy them. They're not that expensive. And you run it really slow where you don't really hear that there's a phaser on. Right? So if you ever see, people talk about the Eddie Van Halen phaser trick, it basically was just left on all the time. Like that was just his guitar tone. Like if you heard it without the phaser, it didn't sound right. And it adds this really kind of, we just think of it like chewy. We call it chewy. It kind of sounds chewy, like you're chewing on something, like your guitar's chewing on something while you're playing it. So anyway, yeah, even just that. Whew. Yeah. Like that. Play that stuff, that high like Van Halen kind of stuff, but in the back. It gives that static chord like some movement, right? A little pitch movement that you don't really have to think about because it's not the effect is there just for like this chewy thing. And it's such a cool trick. I'm glad you pulled that pedal out. That's awesome. All right, I don't know how we're looking on camera batteries, but there you go. Yes. close. All right. So that is the Phase 90 MXR script custom shop, modded by Analog Man.
Oh.
I think it's.
That's it. Yeah. It goes E.
Yeah.
It goes E, E, A, D. Yeah.
There you go. All right.
I don't remember.
That's okay. So tonight, the only reason I pulled out the Prince of Tone, not because it's not the greatest pedal history of man as we know it right now, is because the fine pedal at Harby, fine people at Harby Guitar Pedals sent me a few pedals, and I really, 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 really appreciate it. And I have the Harby. It is called the Noble Tone, and I wonder why it's called the Noble Tone. Could it be that noble is like royalty, like a prince? So basically, this is Harby's version of the Prince of Tone. So I have the original, and I have the Harby version sitting right beside each other, right here. And if you'll see, the controls are laid out exactly the same. Drive, volume, tone, even in the same places. And there is a mini toggle, three-way mini toggle. And the three-way mini toggle on the Analog Man Prince of Tone, the top of it says OD for overdrive, the middle says boost, and the bottom says distortion. So it will go like it's in OD. The Prince of Tone now is in OD mode. And that's running into my Sobtech MiG 50. Need a little more top end on it, maybe. So that's overdrive, right? It's only gonna overdrive so much. Is everything kinda at noon? Here's distortion. Should be a little more, I hope. Not a ton more, but what you'll be shocked at is boost in the middle. Woo! The boost is so good. Now that is the Prince of Tone. Let's go over to the Harby Noble Tone. And let's turn this thing on and let's go up to overdrive at the top. Pretty close. Yeah, I don't have it at the same. Woo, that sounds good though. God, dog. So that's the Harby. You see it all lit up right here, right? That's in overdrive. Let's go down to distortion. Should be raunchy. Yeah, man. So that's the distortion. Let's go to the boost and see if it still has the same characteristic. It should be way louder than the other two. Yeah! It's louder. Hey. That is amazing sound.
That's pretty good.
Wow. So that is the... God, dog, I want to go out and play some guitar live somewhere. Promise me when you go off to college, you'll come back home and play with me. Promise me. Promise me. Promise me. You won't be too cool to be like, my dad wants me to come play with him this weekend. I'm going to go home. Yeah, man, that Harby pedal sounds great. So that is the Harby Noble Tone. There are three pedals, H-A-R-B-Y. There are three pedals that they make. They make the Noble Tone. They make the Centauri, which is the clone, and then they make the muff. It's called the It's called like a BM something.
Yeah.
Right? Something like that. Anyway, so they make a Big Muff clone, they make a Klon clone, and they make this Prince of Tone clone. I will tell you straight up, the Analog Man pedals are hard to find. The Prince of Tone, they're expensive if you can find them used. If you can find them new, the Prince of Tone, they sell one every Wednesday at like 1 o'clock. Like, no joke. That's not like some mythical whatever. And you go online and you put it in your cart and you check out, and it's like the lottery if you're the first one to buy one. And they're expensive. They're more expensive than the Harvey.
They're not terrible.
They're not terrible if you can get one.
They're worth it.
And they're worth it, right? But if you want that Prince of Tone vibe and you really, really want it, not like a $25 Amazon knockoff of it that they just put try to make it look like a Prince of Tone, this pedal is killer.
But
so
speaking of which, I think that the Harvey pedals are on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken.
Are they?
I think.
But I tell you where you can buy them. You go to Michael Slaughter's store, Heyday Guitars
Slaughter.
in Winston-Salem, Heydey Guitars in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And Michael Slaughter will sell you. I was actually at his shop. Oh, man, what did we do this past week? I totally forgot.
I forgot about
we
that.
went and hung out. We went and hung out with our buddy Mike Squires, who's the bass player for a band called Ugly Kid Joe. You might have heard about them back in the day in the 90s. They had a couple of hits in the 90s, and they play them all over XM now, and all that. Yep, they got them there too.
On Amazon.
There you go. They got them everywhere. Oh, they're more expensive on Amazon. Go to Slaughter's shop. Yep, they're way more expensive on Amazon. Go to Slaughter's shop. Michael Slaughter, Heyday Guitars, Winston-Salem. Anyway, so we went and hung out with that's the king of clone. So we went and hung out with the Ugly Kid Joe guys in Winston-Salem. That was fun. My buddy Mike Squires, who was kind enough to interview me on his podcast for this Mike Watt record that I worked on. Oh, look out.
Got Z-Vex.
And so we went and hung out with Mike and the guys from Ugly Kid Joe in Winston-Salem, and it was fun. And basically, Mike caught an Uber over because I was working with Mr. Gales on a track that is not out yet, but if I told you, I'd have to, I can't say it or they flag my video. They'll flag me if I told you, I'd have to, So
They have Z-Vex.
I can't even say that out loud. So anyway, but
Next
so
time
Squires
we need to get something off Amazon.
So Squires was on tour with Ugly Kid Joe, and they're doing this whole U.S. tour. First U.S. tour in, what did he say, 27 years? 27 years. I was like, did you say that right? And he said they tour in Europe all the time. I was like, okay, man. So Squires plays bass for Ugly Kid Joe. He played guitar for him on the last tour.
Yep.
And the guy playing guitar for Ugly Kid Joe on this past tour, Squires tells us while we're out eating lunch, he played for Ghost. So it just goes to show you, if you get a gig in the band Ghost, you wearing the masks, that you can actually go out and play a gig in shorts and a Hawaiian shirt and 80s Ray-Ban sunglasses, and nobody knows who you are. You can go play for Ugly Kid Joe, and nobody will even know. Anyway, so Squires plays with Duff McKagan in a band called Loaded. Duff McKagan's the bass player for Guns N' Roses, if you don't know. And so anyway, that was a fun hang, and it was good to actually hang with people that you do. A lot of the stuff that we do is correspondence-wise now, whether it's interviews or whether it's press or whether it's whatever. And so being able to hang out with real people is fun. And Squires is a great guy. So if you get a chance to check out anything, he has an amazing podcast called Couch Riffs, Riffs, and he works the crap out of that thing. He interviews people every week. It's really great. So good dude, great guy, killer player, and just one of those guys that you can call and be dependable. He's a dependable dude. Call him, go out on tour. He'll come play guitar, bass, maybe not for you, but he'll go if a band needs him and calls him, and he'll go out and he'll do it. So anyway, we got to hang, do that. So play your next pedal, and we'll be done, young man, before the batteries run out. Oh,
so
God, guitar sounds so good.
Plain tone.
Woo, man, I like it. Well, that sounds good, man.
It's funny because you're so used to playing the E major, and just getting all the strings in there.
Yeah.
But if you play that same shape, your G string, no good.
No bueno.
No good.
No bueno.
So you got to just kind of skip it.
I couldn't get, I mean, if it was the only guitar I played for like 5 years, I'm sure I could go like, hey, that's an E or that's an A, but I would always be skipping around the fact that it was like Jason, what up? Jason Heaton, my man. You still got that Les Paul? You gonna bring it over here and leave it and let me have it? I like that. All right, you ready for what's your next one? Let's get top down
So
we can see.
we've got the Foxgear knee Trembler vibrato.
I bought this pedal from
wanna
Music
say?
Around. I think I paid maybe $50 for it.
And
But
arguably
the best part about it.
the best part, you've got a light. I don't know how well it shows up.
Yeah, I don't know
it's
how
on there pretty good.
Can you see it in the camera pretty good?
Yeah.
So it lights up from the inside when you plug it in, right? Lights up from the inside.
Yep.
Then,
But you've got, here, I'll turn the intensity up. There we go. So you've got your matching light inside to show your rate of your effect.
yeah, the top of the pedal, top surface of the pedal is made out of like plexiglass. And so it's painted, right? It's got a metal enclosure, plexiglass top, and it's painted, and your tremolo light, it like pulses, you know,
crazy.
from the inside. Pulses from the inside of the inside of the pedal. So it's very, very cool.
So let's hear this.
That's my hand doing pulsing motions after I went and got diagnosed with tennis elbow this morning at the doctor. Is amazing. I love being 55.
Tennis elbow.
Woo! Let's hear it for tennis elbow. Come on. Man. That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. You know what I am? You know what I am for getting tennis elbow? Hold on.
Better, stronger, faster.
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna. Hey, look out. Boo dee boo boo. Ski ba da
Here, wait, you ready?
boo. Lee ba ba ba. Here's what I am for,
Hold on.
getting tennis elbow.
We're getting into the pedal.
What?
Oh.
No! No!
No!
Oh no! What happened? Wait. Hey, what the what?
Huh.
I am so distraught
We'll fix the
right
machine.
now. Man, I can't even be a.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him.
Hey, that's what you need.
The technology.
We need the technology.
Yeah, I need the technology for the tennis elbow.
Rebuild your tennis elbow from
I was
all
like,
the
what
tennis.
can I do for it? You know what they said? Like every other time I go to the doctor, nothing. Put a brace on it. I was like, great. Now I get to join the ranks of all the guys that have that beige brace around their arm that looks like they sweated through it about 5 times. God, nasty. I don't want to wear one of those. I don't want to wear a brace of any kind.
All right, ready?
Sorry.
We'll see what we got.
Uh-oh, skateboarder W. He's giving away a signed copy of Vinnie Vincent banjo next week.
You heard it here first.
And I know who Skateboarder W is. That's the best part about it. Oh, my God. It's out of YouTube. Oh, my Lord. If y'all aren't over on YouTube, go over on YouTube because that's some funny stuff. Anyway, yeah,
Okay.
maybe next week we'll give away a copy of Vinnie Vincent banjo because my buddy Scott Board was actually Vinnie Vincent's singer for about 2 days last week. And then
No more?
And no more. Did I not send you
No.
that? It pulled a Vinnie Vincent on him. And said, I don't know what this guy's talking about. And I was just like, geez, man. Could some guy, Gene Simmons has always said that Vinnie Vincent was the biggest self-sabotage. He's like, he's completely self-sabotaged his whole career. He's like, he's got this thing. So my buddy Scott Board that we've done gigs with. I mean, man, Scott Board's band used to play with us. We used to split gigs with his band called Shin Kicker. He was in an amazing band called Cerebus for years. Scott Board actually was, and I'm not laughing because I feel so bad for the guy. I don't feel bad for Scott. He's a badass. He's got all his stuff together, man. But so Scott Board went and did this thing with ex-Kiss guitarist Vinnie Vincent in Nashville, and Vinnie Vincent does these private events where I guess where he has to have money, and he charges like an extravagant. Hey, that's what it sounds like when the
That wasn't me.
Doncaster, when the SE Doncaster falls over. Oh, look out. Got to put that leg out. Yep, there you go.
That's what happens when it falls and nothing happens to it, because it's great.
Because it's the Dynacaster. Because the great. I got 5 of them now. All right, so
you need 5.
Anyway, the hey, Cryo, somebody just subscribe to my YouTube. Man, I feel sorry if you subscribe for all those Eric Gales videos, because you watching us act a fool on here, right? Yeah. Wait a minute. Woo! Thank you. Actually, thank you for the subscription. So, yeah, so Scott, my buddy Scott Board was Vinnie Vincent's singer for literally about maybe like 4 days last week. Vinnie Vincent, they had this big announcement, and there was this big thing, and Vinnie Vincent was like, I love this guy, and he's great. And they were in the studio, and they were going to re-record. They're going to mix all these old songs and do this new record, and all this stuff. And then Vinnie Vincent, like a couple of days later, like, well, sorry for any confusion. We're not working with anybody right now and doing anything. And Scott was like, what the what? Like, I read his Facebook post was basically just like, everything was great, and then all communication stopped. I was like, Jesus.
Wow.
And everybody kept anticipating that it would happen, because Vinnie Vincent's just like, he's that guy, man. He just self-sabotages his whole... he could have a legacy, man. He wrote so many great songs for Kiss, even when he wasn't in the band.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the guy's making so much money off his royalties and his licensing for all the stuff that they do. And it's like, how can you do that to yourself, man? Anyway, so...
And arguably one of the best Kiss makeups.
It was a killer Kiss makeup.
Arguably.
He was one of the guys that came out of nowhere, and he's like, I'm going to be the Ankh. And you're like, what? And
Who
he had
thinks of that?
His was the only one that really covered his whole nose.
Well,
Peter Criss had
Eric
on the
Carr.
kind of on the end. Eric Carr had a
Eric
stripe
Carr.
down the middle of his nose, though. Well, maybe, yeah, kind of, I guess. But anyway, so so Vinnie Vincent. That's funny that you say that, Skateboarder W. Give away a signed copy of Vinnie Vincent
He
banjo.
played like Jackson Rhodes.
He played you really? He played a Jackson Vinnie Vincent model, and it was
it's so weird.
King V's offset to where they look like 2 V's on top of each other.
That's
and I'm like,
right.
wow.
That's what it is.
Anyway.
There it is.
There it is, the
That's
crazy
just-
Vinnie Vincent guitar. That looks like a Conklin.
It's
Oh, yeah, there it
that's
is.
more like
Yeah,
it.
there they are.
That is crazy.
Extravagant,
But it's almost not-
extravagant 80s guitars.
It's offset like a Rhodes.
So I will
But-
tell you, the iPad's about to go, and the whole live stream will go when it goes. So let's get your knee trembler.
Let's get on with it.
Let's get on with it.
Shall we?
I'm having fun, though. I'm sorry it's been so long, guys, since we've been here, but you've been hanging for an hour and a half.
Here we go.
We're going good. We're going to stop to drop some cameras in a second. I don't want to, but it's all good.
Listen to that.
Man, listen. Turn that up some.
Well, let me turn the intensity down.
Let's turn your amp up some.
Well, I turn it up and it comes up in the
clip?
tremolo and clips. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. It's something on the mic pre in there.
It's whatever.
Woo! Hey now.
B flat.
I don't know why it's clipping. All right, the knee Trembler by
I like
Foxgear.
tremolo a lot for a rhythm guitar.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it with lead guitar.
And just
Well,
how
I
you
didn't
set
like
the
it slow.
intensity. Turn on some verb on your Kemper. There you go. Maybe the verb down, maybe the intensity of the verb down a little bit. All right. So, before my iPad runs out of battery, because it got down to 5% about 5 minutes ago, I'm afraid it's going to go. Do that again. So I can hear it again. That was nice. Oh, it knocked my tuner off. Good thing I'm not going to play any more guitar. Woo! God, man, it sounds good. Dog. Woo, that's nasty. That sounds great. Yes. All right. Everybody, we want to thank y'all for hanging out with us and listening to us go on and on about silly stuff. We've missed you for a month, but we'll be back. We're going to try really hard to be back next week before summertime gets all crazy with this young man and before school and all this stuff goes all crazy, and we are going to have a good time next week. So join us, and we'll make it happen, Captain. We appreciate y'all watching. Again, this is Earthtones Live. Go to all of our stuff, all of our groups on Facebook. There's a group. There's my page. There's the Earthtones page. And then there's our YouTube channel, Earthtones Official. Go check it out. Go subscribe. Go hit the bell icon for notifications so you get notifications whenever we're going live. And that will let you know when we're going to do this silliness again. Again, we appreciate everything. This is me, and this is Mr. Abraham Johnson signing off. Be good now. Wrong notes. Hey!